How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about credit card low balance cancellation. What is it and what can you do with it? It's a weird situation where in a credit card, if there is a very low balance, often maybe like $2 or less, the credit card itself will actually cancel that balance out so you don't owe anything. It'll show up on your credit card once they've done it as a balance adjustment, charge adjustment, or small balance credit. Now this is great and all if you happen to do this accidentally. Let's say you bought something for $20 and you got a refund for $18. So there's a very small balance on it and the credit card company says, never mind, you don't need to pay. It's too small. We don't want to deal with it. We're going to credit you the balance. Many years ago, I noticed this happening by accident on my own. And then I figured, hey, why don't I just charge a small amount on it on purpose so that they can cancel it out and I don't owe anything. Theoretically, if you have a lot of credit cards like I do, you can aggregate all these and it might add up to maybe $10 to $20 worth depending on how many credit cards you have. Now I think this little hack is probably not for everyone and some people are not going to be very happy about this video either because you're essentially taking advantage of this little policy that the bank has. Honestly, I wouldn't really care if all the banks suddenly close up this loophole where, hey, no more small balance cancellation. They don't care. Whatever amount is due on the credit card, you need to pay, even if it's like 43 cents or even 1 penny. Let's say you take advantage of this and you get about $10 value per month. Over a year, that's $120. The current interest rate of around 4% means that you need to put in the bank about $3,000 to get $10 a month. So this is not very big money. It's almost kind of like penny pinching. And if you think so too, you can probably just skip this video. If you got this all figured out and you go and do it every single month, it might take you 10 minutes. Okay, so every minute you earn $1, 60 minutes you earn $60, right? Some people earn way more than $60 an hour. So if this does not seem like it's worth it to you, then of course don't do it. However, I still think it's an interesting topic, so I'm going to talk about it. Now, I want to speculate first about why they actually have such a weird policy. I personally think it's because back in the day when they have paper statements, if you owe less than $2 on it, it probably costs them more in order to print the statement, put a stamp on it, and mail you the entire bill. So instead of paying that, they just say cancel it out, and the bank might actually not use as much money trying to bill you for a very small amount. But it does not matter so much these days because most people are paperless, or they can do it in such a way where if you are paperless, they'll no longer cancel your low balance. But in that case, it might de-incentivize people from actually going paperless. So they might go back to paper statements in order to get the low balance cancellation. And on top of that, I probably don't have to make a video about this anymore. This is my second video about low balance cancellation. I made one many years ago. I thought I'd give it a refresher. Here are the banks that does this in the order of value. Discover does $2 cancellation. Capital One, Barclay Card, and US Bank does $1 cancellation. Home Depot Card, Kohl's Card, and USAA does 99-cent low balance cancellation. American Express is a little weird. I tried charging 50 cents every single month and they actually cancel it every other month. It's kind of spotty. It's also important to note which one does not do it for sure, so you don't have to waste the effort to try to figure out if they do this low balance cancellation. The banks that does not do low balance cancellation include Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Target, Red Card, BMO Harris, Bank of the West, HSBC, PNC, Sallie Mae, Synchrony. Now this list is not inclusive of all the banks out there. If you want to find out if it does low balance cancellation, I would personally charge $1 on it first because that's the most common. If they don't cancel out that $1, change it to 99 cents. However, if they do cancel out that $1, most likely it's $1, but in very rare cases, it might be $2. So you might want to charge $2 on it just to test it out. Now, it's nice to know that it has a low balance cancellation. It might be $2, $1, 99 cents, or even 50 cents. Now I'm going to cover how you can easily spend a small amount because if you want to do this to all your credit cards, you might have 10 of them and you have to keep on doing this. This is a lot of work. So you want to minimize the amount of work necessary in order to do this every single month. Amazon used to allow you to reload the gift card balance in your account with only 50 cents, but now they no longer do this. The minimum is now $5. So that is gone. You can bring the cards around, go to a supermarket, buy a pack of candy. It might be like $2 these days even. After you spend it, you have to go back into your credit card and pay everything except for the low balance cancellation amount. Let's say it costs $2.11. You pay $1.11 and it reduced the balance to $1, and you need to do this before the statement date. So you need to know when that is for every single credit card. When the statement date comes, the system will say, hey, there's a low balance there. Let's cancel that out. And then when they issue your statement, it's going to be 0. You can also bring a bunch of credit cards, and I've tried this before, to a gas station, and then you try to put that exact amount in the car. It gets a little bit tricky. You got to push the lever, very, very quickly if you want to add another cent or something, and sometimes you might actually go over. So then that means you have to go back in your credit card and pay 2 cents. Note that though, also some credit cards won't let you pay 2 cents. Just saying. Personally, I like to do it at home. I don't want to run outside and do this because you have to use gas. It might negate the effect because your transportation costs might actually be more than what you're saving in this low balance cancellation. So here is a list of the utilities I have, and I found out on each of them if you can actually pay a very small amount. For PG&E, it's a no-go because every single time you use a credit card, they charge you $1.35 fee. There's also a thing where you cannot make a payment unless there's something due. Alameda County Water District is a very, very good bill to do this trick with because they allow you to pay into the account when there's no balance due. So you can have a negative balance. You can pay anytime you want, and you can pay at a minimum of $1. So if the low balance cancellation is at $1, you just pay that $1. If the low balance cancellation is at 99 cents, you pay that $1. Go into your credit card account and pay them 1 cent to reduce it to 99 cents. Republic Services allows you to pay a very small amount. However, if there's no balance due on it, you cannot pay anything more into it. In other words, they do not allow negative balances. So it does not work as well unless you do it at the right time of the month where there is a statement and you're owed them something. Then you can use your credit cards. For AT&T internet, you can only pay that account if there's a balance due. You cannot use MasterCard gift cards. I just have that note in there for some reason because I like to buy gift cards and then pay into that. And there's a $1 minimum for paying it. Now I've converted to T-Mobile internet, which is a bit cheaper at just like $35 a month, and it's using 5G. My AT&T used to cost like $70 or so, so I halved my expenses for my internet. However, T-Mobile is not very good for doing this because direct deposit is required in order to get $5 off. So that's a no-go as well. If you have Kaiser as a health insurance, they also allow you to pay any amount into it at any time, even if there's no balance due. So just as good as the water utility bill. Lastly, you can just use the credit card as normal, just keep on charging whatever. And then right before the statement date, you pay it down to 99 cents, $1, whatever. And then when the statement is closed, they will low balance cancel it. How do you do this with minimal effort? I used to note all the statement dates in a month, right? And there's like a long window where I don't have any statement date. Every single month around the 7th, I would be like, okay, it's time to do that thing again where I log on to, let's say, Kaiser Healthcare, and I just keep on clicking. It might take me 10 minutes to go through all the credit cards and spend a very small amount. But there's a problem to this because sometimes I would take vacations and I would be on vacation during that window. So this is not so good. Sometimes I would actually miss it for a month. Instead, I figured a new way to do this where you need to list out all your credit cards with the statement dates. And as soon as the statement closes and you get a 0 balance, you go back in and charge it again with a small amount. That way your credit card will always be sitting there with a small balance and you won't accidentally miss the window. When you do this, instead of having just a couple day window, you have a 30-day window before the next statement period closes. But the drawback to this is you may have to do this multiple times a month. Personally, I check my accounts all the time, and whenever I notice a 0 balance, and I'm like, hey, look, there's another opportunity. So I go and charge a small amount on it. Right now, I'm using the water utility bill. Here's an example of what I have for my credit cards. low balance cancellation hack in the final form in a spreadsheet. Pay attention to the closing date column. You see 6th, 7th, 8th, 15, 16, 19. It's just all over the place. And I list them by credit card, US Bank, Capital One, American Express, Barclays, etc., etc. So you would use this spreadsheet kind of like in a cycling manner. Whatever the date is, let's say today is the 17th, look at the card that has a closing date on the 16th and see if there is a charge on it. Make sure that there's a 99-cent charge on it. And whenever you're done with it, you can delete it off of this list. Sometimes I think, $14 is not very much, but it does help reduce the water bill by $14. And at the same time, this really is penny pinching and might not sit with a lot of people in the right way. Why are you doing this for 99 cents? I'm just gonna leave it out there. I know some people are going to be interested in this. I've had gatherings where people tell me that they use the low balance cancellation trick, especially with Discover, which is $2 whole rather than just one. So take all this with a grain of salt. Try it if you like. Don't try it. It doesn't matter. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more. Now, I want to speculate first about why they actually have such a weird policy. I personally think it's because back in the day when they have paper statements,